Hello, everyone, and welcome to Live Signing. I'm Danny Valdez, and with us today is multi-platinum recording artist Sara Evans for the live signing of her new book, Born to Fly, a memoir. Sara, I'm so glad you chose to put your memoir into this beautiful collectible book that is autographed by you, of course.
Thank you.
Welcome to your own live signing.
Thank you. This is the first one of these that I've done,
No way.
and all my fans who know me, they know that I have this horrible problem of messing with my hair. When
Okay.
I can see myself on camera, because as I was saying, you do your hair and makeup, and then you come in front of the computer screen, and it's like totally different.
Of course.
I'm going to do everything I can not to mess with. I'm just going to hold my book and not mess with my hair.
Just cling to that book. Hey, we actually have a fun mutual connection. Do you remember a family band of songwriters called the Henningsons?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so they're really good friends of mine, and I used to play drums for them, but they told me to tell you hello.
Oh my gosh, tell them I said hi.
Yay.
They're wonderful people.
Yeah, they're great. Yeah, I talk to them all the time. They're good old buds. And
So you're a drummer. That's incredible.
yeah, well, I used to tour and play drums. Yeah.
I play drums too.
No.
Yes, I swear I do.
What? Do people know this?
Well, if you read the book, you'll find that out.
Okay. I've read some. I'm midway through your book, by the way.
I don't know if I actually talk about playing drums in the book or not.
Wow, that's a fun fact.
I play drums and I play a little bit of piano and mandolin, a little bit of guitar, but mostly I just am a singer.
So your drummer's game better be tight on touring with you.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so you know the whole story about me finding Matt Chamberlain. Do you know who that is?
Yeah, he's your drummer.
No, so I listened to the Wallflowers album.
Yeah.
Years ago, like in what was that, 1998 or something?
Oh yeah, One Headlight is one of my favorite drum parts. Yeah.
Oh my God, it's one of the best drum parts ever. So I was listening to the album and I just was like, who is this drummer?
Yeah.
So when we went in the studio we're getting ready to make Born to Fly, the album, I met with my producer, Paul Worley, and I said, you have to do one thing for me. You have to find this drummer. I don't know who he is. And he was like, why? We have a million great drummers in Nashville. And I'm like, not like this guy. And there are a million great drummers in Nashville, but he is special. Then I found out that he actually was in like Pearl Jam, and he played on that Edie Brickell song that really What I Am Is What I Am. So he came to Nashville for the first time ever and played on Born to Fly.
No way.
I take all the credit for bringing. Then now he's played on all the Nashville records that you can imagine. But I was the first one. He helped me create my sound from Born to Fly on.
Okay. Yeah, Matt Chamberlain is a special drummer. I mean, he is beyond like, let me play the chart. I mean, he brings a special touch.
So charts like the way Nashville guys do. The first time he came in, we were charting out, listening to the first song that we were going to cut. I think it was like I Keep Looking. And he was making all these like chicken scratches on and I'm like, what are you doing? While everybody else was doing the number system, he was doing his own thing. So Matt Chamberlain is mine. He belongs to me. No one else can claim him.
Well, you've heard it here, folks.
My last drummer on the road, Jim Bloodgood, has had to play, copy Matt Chamberlain all these years.
Sure.
And he says it made him a better drummer, but he's
absolutely
well.
I love that. Well, for those of you listening, for the next hour, Sara's going to be signing these books, of course, and answering as many of your questions as possible. And some of you guys have just tuned in, and we have, it looks like thousands, by the way. And if you've not yet purchased this book, I'm partway through, and I can tell you it is super exciting to hear about a young artist's journey, from wanting to like break through, having the talent, believing in herself, but then like getting that call and having that moment. Like, and I'm going to ask you about that in a minute, but it's a great book, and you actually still have time to order an autographed copy and even submit a question to Sara. So just click over to premiercollectibles.com/born to fly to order a copy or 10 copies for you.
Yeah, because, all of my shows have been canceled.
Yes.
If you would buy 10 copies of the book and 10 copies of the new album.
Yeah. yeah, your shows have been canceled, but they still charge money for bread at Kroger, unfortunately.
I don't understand that. Yeah. And also, well, just let's not even go there.
So before we yeah, that's right, clutch the book. So before we dive into some of these audience questions, I read in your book about how you met Joe Galante, or as some in Nashville call him, Galani, and what a breakthrough moment that was for you as a young artist. Can you briefly describe what that time period in your life was like?
So I grew up on stage. I started singing when I was 4 years old. My mother and my two older brothers, well, my mother pushed my two older brothers and I into doing music because she recognized our talent. And I think one of the most fascinating things about this book and about my story is that, you know, a young mother, we didn't have any money. We were poor farmers in central Missouri, that she had the gumption. And it was almost like the Holy Spirit or something was just pushing her to, and she also has an entrepreneurial spirit to her for sure, pushed us into music. So I grew up on stage, and I'm so blessed to have had all of that experience from 4 years old on. So when I moved to Nashville, it really didn't take me long to get my record deal. I knew that if I got in front of anybody, that there's no way that they could sort of deny me, because I was so confident in my voice. And
Wow. Yeah.
so I got in front of Joe Galante. I sang 3 songs for him. He was the president of RCA at the time. And later on that day, he signed me to a 7-album record deal, which was the biggest record deal that had been offered to a new artist ever.
Wow.
So, yeah, he's been like a father figure to me. And he wrote a quote on the back of the book too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joe Galante, former president of RCA Records. Wow, that's so. When you were like a kid, were you singing like as a 6-year-old, like blowing people away? Okay, so this was in your blood.
We were in a cover band, and my mom, would always find us other musicians to back us, and she figured out what equipment to buy, what microphones we should have, and what songs we should learn. So we learned like all the top 40 country, and then we would do some older country songs. But I just remember like being like 10 years old and singing House to the Rising Sun, which is really a song about Constitution. But
it's a hard song.
I just sang it because it was popular.
Sure.
Yeah. So I literally grew up on stage.
Wow. Yeah. House to the Rising Sun. I mean, that's like a big song to sing too. I mean,
I mean, I do have some questions for my mom for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Why this one, Mom? Well, I don't, honestly, I would, a fellow Nashvilleian, fellow musician, I would hog the rest of this time, and I would just ask you personal questions. But I know so many people who have bought this autographed book have some questions. So if you're ready, you want to jump in?
I would love to.
Okay. All right. So let's go. The first question, Guy from New Hampshire, and he asks, Sara, when composing, do you typically start with a lyric or the melody? Thanks for all you do.
Thanks for the question. I typically start with a song idea, like a title idea and a topic that I want to write about. So I'll have that center idea, and then I'm more of a lyricist. I get bored with my own melodies so quickly. So I love to co-write with people who are great at guitar riffs and chord progressions and melodies, so that I don't just write the same song over and over again. But I'm definitely more gifted at lyrics, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. So you start with almost like the issue you want to talk about and build a song from that.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Michael from New Jersey, what was your favorite video to shoot?
Oh, Born to Fly, for sure. I mean, Born to Fly is the most iconic video maybe ever made in country music, in my opinion. And Peter Zavadil directed that, and that was the first video that he ever directed for me. And he's directed almost every single one since then. But we knew that we had a hit song with Born to Fly, so the video had to match that greatness. And everything that the musicians did on that record was just over the top, starting with Matt Chamberlain and the drum intro. But that was just a special song. So the video also had to be special. And so his idea was to sort of make it like a sexy Dorothy from Wizard of Oz, you know, and talk
Oh,
about how
yeah.
I grew up on a farm in Missouri, which is close enough to Kansas. And um, just making the whole video sort of be these people, you know, that look like the characters from Wizard of Oz. And my brother Matt, who is still my bass player, and he's the one who moved to Nashville with me when I was 19 and he was 22. He's in that video, and he's been in almost every video since then.
Wow.
Yeah, because we won Video of the Year for the CMAs. And I felt like, you know, if Matt wasn't in every video after that, then they wouldn't be successful.
Wow. Todd from New Hampshire asks a similar question to what we discussed, but a little different. How old were you when you first took an interest in singing for others?
Well, I was 4 years old when my mom put me on stage, and maybe I can find a picture of me singing at such a young, oh, there's a picture of me playing drums. See?
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah.
Here we go. Yeah.
Yeah, look at that. Okay, so there's little tiny me with my brothers.
Tiny, tiny Sarah.
And I'm playing mandolin, as you can see.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was probably age 5. And that's my brother Jay, who's the oldest, and my brother Matt.
Yeah.
Well, you can't. Matt was cut out of that picture for some reason. I don't know why, but he's the one that's still with me in the band.
You know, I just didn't get far enough in the book yet to see that there's pictures in here from your career in the studio, on the road. This is great.
Very personal. You'll find out a lot about me in this book.
Okay. Justin from Ohio, he asked, what is your favorite song you've recorded that wasn't a single?
Restless.
Restless.
Yeah, absolutely. Hands down. And also Otis Redding. I think the Restless album is my best one. It's my best piece of work. It was produced by Paul Worley. We did it right after Born to Fly, and the song itself, the song Restless, is just amazing, and I really wish it could have been a single.
What's the song Restless about?
It's kind of about, you know, it's about feeling like you haven't quite figured out where your home is, you know, and it totally describes me and my 3 kids, as far as, you know, I raised them all on the tour bus, so we say we're all like gypsies, and we just are always on the go, always traveling, and we never really feel settled. And so that's what the song is about. I didn't write it, but it's incredible. But it just says, you know, I'm restless, rambling. What do you do? Where do you go when nowhere feels like home?
Yeah. Wow. So the song Alone that you cut, by the way, I absolutely love that song. Do you, I know you know the Henningsons, but you know, there's 3, the father, son, and daughter in the band, Aaron, Brian, and Clara. You know, Aaron, he's one of the co-writers with you on that song. And you may know this already, but I kind of want your fans to know this. He's sort of like hyperactive. And he was, and a lot of guys can relate to this. His wife was upset, and he was trying to, like, what's wrong? And he just kept staying on her. What's wrong? And she said, you know, Aaron, sometimes, because he said, I love you. I'm trying to help you. She said, well, you know, sometimes loving me just means leaving me alone.
Yeah,
and so,
I did not write that with them. They wrote it, and I was
so
impressed with it. And that's one of those songs that I say is in my wheelhouse. So it's very country. It's like my song Better Off, or on the new covers album, I'm So Lonesome I Could Cry by Hank Williams. That's my favorite way to sing. And it's so country, and that is such an amazing hook line. I mean, why couldn't I have thought of that? Sometimes loving me just means leaving me alone. It's so true.
Yeah, I love that. So Paige from San Antonio, Texas, I'm in the verge of becoming an empty nester. What are your plans once all the kids have flown? P.S. I sang Born to Fly as a lullaby to my babies.
Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you.
Yay.
Um, yeah, I mean, thanks for bringing up one of the most depressing things I could think about
Oh
today.
no.
Is my
Oh no.
kids. But, we're really extremely close. My son plays guitar for me, and my daughter Olivia sings
Oh,
harmony for me. So we are still, well, we used to be on the road together. All of our shows have been canceled this year, but once, we get back to normal touring life, we're together all the time. So, but yeah, the fact that, when your kids actually don't live at home anymore, I don't even want to think about that. But at the same time,
I'm with you.
if I wasn't, if I didn't push for that and I wasn't happy for them, doing exactly what I did, which is move not only out of my mom's home, but all the way to another state. If I didn't support that and I wasn't happy for them, I would be a hypocrite and I would be a narcissist. So I want them to go and live their own lives. And, then I guess I'll just have this time period between that and then when they start having children.
Wow. Yeah, I've got 4 kids, 2 of which are daughters. My sons, I'm almost like, wow, you're super in my space. But my daughters, I'm just like, can you live here forever? Would that be okay?
I mean, when my son Avery graduated from high school, he moved up to Nashville shortly after that to pursue being a guitarist and singer, songwriter, artist. And
Nice.
I couldn't even look at his bedroom because
Oh,
I gave him all of his, furniture from his bedroom. So it was all of his really nice stuff. And it was completely empty. And I couldn't look at it. I couldn't walk by it and look at it. I just kept the door shut.
oh, yeah.
It was so painful because he's my firstborn,
Yes.
first one to leave. But now I realize that it's not that scary because we're actually together all the time and he's always over at the house. And I'm still very much involved in his life. And so we're an extremely close family.
I love that.
It's
That's so
hard
good. I bet. Yeah.
when they grow up.
Yeah. Ron from Diamond Springs, California. I saw you in 2001 as part of the Girls Night Out tour with Reba, which, by the way, there are pictures I saw of that in your book, and Martina in Sacramento. What is your best memory of those earlier tours?
Just everything was at first. So the Girls Night Out tour was the first time that I was able to have my own bus separate from the band and crew. When Avery was a baby, I couldn't afford 2 buses. So we were on tour with Alan Jackson, and Avery and I slept in the back room on the couch so that all of my band and crew could have a bunk. And the bus, when it stops, like if the couch is facing this way, you like roll off the couch. Like it was
Yeah.
not comfortable. It wasn't, but I was so excited and proud just to have one bus. So the Girls Night Out tour was the first time that I had my own bus. We built in a little crib for Avery, and so all of those things were first. And that was, I would say, probably the best time of my life, really and
Yeah.
truly. And also Reba's my idol. So getting to work with her was, I mean, it was not even real.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you still tour when you're touring, do you tour via bus nowadays?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we definitely do.
You don't have your own, you don't do your private jet then, or helicopter?
No, I can't afford a private jet, and
Okay.
actually I can't now, but we love being on the bus. Like my kids say that there's, no place they'd rather be than on the bus, on the road with me. We're so accustomed to that. All 3 of my kids learned to walk, talk, potty train, eat, you name it, on the
Wow.
bus.
On a moving floor, essentially. Yeah. Do
Only
you,
do it at night, as you know, so
yeah.
it's not as bad as people think.
Yeah. Do you find you get lullabied to sleep like most do on the tour bus, or do you struggle
My
to sleep?
kids still do, and I did for years. Now I'm such a light sleeper that I really don't fall asleep until the bus stops. So when I'm on the
Ah,
road, I stay up all night and sleep all day. That's my
yeah.
road schedule because I really can't sleep with the bus moving.
Wow. Yeah, I struggled for a while. I always pictured me front flipping out of the bunk and front flipping down the hallway, and that was my nightmare until months in to where I started getting snug in there.
Well, I've had the same driver for 15 years, and I always say that your tour bus driver and your ear monitor guy are the two most important employees that you can have, because
That's smart.
one takes care of your ears, which is everything, your voice, so you don't oversing, and
Yeah.
the driver, of course, keeps you safe. So when my daughters, who are now 17 and 15, when they were little, they would get up before me, sneak up front, and they would sneak up to sit with Chris while he was driving. And then if they started fussing enough, he would pull the bus over and make them breakfast on the television channel. Like, it's hilarious. And he's still with us. And so he's family for sure.
Wow. That's cool. Yeah. Kids are like cats. Like, they know how to get their breakfast. You know what I mean?
They really do. Especially my girls. My girls know how to get whatever they want.
Yeah. That's so cool. So Richard from Fairfield, California, do you feel Born to Fly covered everything you wanted to write, or are there stories that couldn't fit the overall narrative of the book?
There are definitely more stories, and there are some stories that are in this book that when I write another autobiography, when my kids are grown and nothing embarrasses them, I would probably go a little bit more in depth. Although I go deep on a lot of these. I talk, about, I've had 3 total near-death experiences. I talk about those in depth. I talk about my parents' divorce and, the whole dichotomy of being farmers and being performers, like little celebrities around Missouri, but then we were also poor farming. So it's very personal and in-depth, and you will learn so much about me that will shock you. But I definitely have a more salacious autobiography maybe 10 years from now.
Okay. Wow. Now you said near-death experiences?
Yes.
Could you share one of them?
Well, I got hit by a car when I was 8. I broke both my legs and both my arms. I had a severe concussion. I was unconscious for almost 3 days.
No way.
I was in a hospital bed for 6 weeks, multiple surgeries on both my legs. I have scars all over my legs. And I almost died. The car that hit me was going 75 miles an hour, but miraculously, no internal injuries except the concussion. So I was so blessed in that accident and that experience, that time in the hospital really solidified my faith, or really began my faith in God, because it's almost like I had this little secret with God from that point on. Like,
yeah,
he's like, I got you, and I'm not going to let anything happen to you because you have a purpose.
Wow. Were you in a car when you were hit, or you were?
I was crossing the highway.
Oh my gosh.
So our farm we were set way off the highway, and we had this like beautiful, huge, idyllic old farmhouse that was built in the 1800s. My mother remodeled it, and it was just like picturesque. And I had a motorcycle, and so I would drive my motorcycle around. I was 8 years old. I mean, I was such a tomboy.
Yeah.
This one day, for some reason, I drove my motorcycle to the end of the driveway and decided to get off and cross the highway to get the mail.
Wow.
Which I was not allowed to do. So I snuck down there and got hit by a car, and changed all of our lives forever.
My gosh, I can't imagine. I mean, I'm a parent. I have kids. As you're talking about that, I am there as not as a child, as a parent, thinking, what are you thinking, little girl? Don't you? Yeah, we told you.
I feel like my mom's always kind of been mad at me about it.
She's still, oh yeah. No, I'm slightly, as a parent, sort of like my paternal fatherly side is rising up right now.
Why would you do that? But
what do you think? Yeah.
I was an imaginative and very creative little girl, and I'd been playing house, and so I had all my baby dolls lined up, and
yeah,
part of that, I was like, I'm the wife and the mommy, and so I'm gonna go get the mail, and
yeah,
I was just in this imaginary world, and I just thought I could cross the highway and I would be totally fine. And our neighbor, she came flying over the hill going 75 miles an hour. She was late for a job interview, and she had to take her son to a baseball game. And I froze, and they could not stop. And so it just hit me on the left side. and my head, hit the top of the car. And then she slammed on her brakes, and that threw me like 90 feet in the air.
My
So at
God.
first they couldn't even find me. I was in the ditch.
So this is one of 3 near-death experiences you talk about in this book.
Yes.
For
And
those of you,
the worst one.
yeah, let's save that for the book because, by the way, if those of you who are just tuning in, you can get a copy of this collectible autograph special edition of Sara Evans' book, Born to Fly. It's at premiercollectibles.com/Born to Fly. Let's go to Christy from Georgia. And she asked, what is the most important advice you received from your mom and or grandma that you think every girl should know?
My mom used to say, you're just 10 pounds away from being famous.
What's that mean?
No, I'm kidding. She did, but she was always joking.
Yeah, that's funny though.
My mom and my granny, my mom's
Yeah.
mom, were the 2 most influential people in my entire life. And I don't know if it was ever one thing that they said, but it was their example. And they both were servants, and it taught me to be a servant in my home. So I'm very doting over my husband and my children, anybody who comes to my home. If you're there for dinner or to visit or whatever, I just like to wait on people hand and foot. And my personal side is quite different from my business side. So my business mind is, I can lead a band of men. I can, be very decisive and run a company and do all of those things. But in my personal life, I'm a total pushover and I'm a middle child of 7. So watching my granny serve her family the way she did, meaning her 3 children and all the grandchildren, she cooked everything, she cleaned up, she doted on us. I mean, I loved that woman so much. So other than a quote, it was just watching them by example.
Lifestyle, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Leanne from Florida writes, if not in the music industry, what would you have done as a career?
I would have been a horse farmer for sure.
Wow.
And I would have probably devoted my life to horses, and then my children, of course. And I think I might have had 5 or 6 kids if I hadn't gone into the music business. But I love being a mom more than anything in life, and I love horses, or maybe open a restaurant because I also love to cook. But my food is not fancy. My food is comfort food.
What do you love to cook? What's a favorite?
I mean, I just do mashed potatoes, gravy, fried chicken.
Get it?
Homemade, fried pancakes that my kids just love. I mean, it's so funny because when we were all together before my stepchildren all like graduated high school and went to college, I just constantly served 7 kids and my husband, and that's all I did was cook. And so we used to say that I should open a restaurant called Cakes and Burgers because I would make the best pancakes and the best cheeseburgers.
Nice combo. That's
fried, very greasy.
That's like a chicken and waffle level combo.
Exactly.
Cakes and burgers. Would the cake be for dessert, or would there be some sort of like
no? It stands
cake
for
bread.
Pancakes. It stands
for
pancakes. So
gotcha.
They're deep fried, like literally, you can't even describe it. And but I get that from my mom and my granny, the cooking thing.
Yeah. Wow. Marlene asks, which is a great follow-up here, one word that describes your life as a mom.
Devotion, concern, care, just total dedication and love and gratitude.
Yeah.
God giving me my 3 beautiful children. And everybody says that about their kids, and they should. But it really is the most important thing in my life.
Yeah. That's huge. Anthony from Michigan asks, a real fine place has always been my favorite video. Where was the location it was filmed? And thank you for making wonderful music.
Thank you. That was right outside of Las Vegas. I think it was called, I always want to say Red Rock.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not. It's something else. But I've seen a few other videos shot there. It was very dangerous. I almost fell off the cliff because you see me on top of that cliff singing, and Peter kept telling me, look towards the sun because that's the best lighting. So I would look towards the sun and look away, I would be blind. And so I almost fell off the cliff, and then I also walked up on a rattlesnake.
Whoa.
Part where I'm like walking towards the camera, like holding you close, chasing that moon. And there was a rattlesnake right there. So we had to stop filming. And I screamed and ran. I think I ran like a mile away because I'm also a very good athlete and a fast runner.
Okay, and this is mid-take. You're belting it out, and you notice a rattlesnake.
I noticed a rattlesnake.
But by the way, just after you almost fell off the cliff, is this a fourth near-death experience?
Oh, not as much. I mean, I guess I could have counted it in the book as another near-death. But I also was playing guitar around the bonfire in that video with this paper-thin shirt on, and one of the sparks hit the shirt, and the shirt like went zzz, and it like burned a hole in the shirt. So it's quite a dangerous video shoot.
Yeah, people don't know that, musicians aren't these spoiled kids not working hard. They're out there on the grind.
It is hard work to be a touring singer and artist. I mean, you really, really do work your butt off. Yeah.
And the weirdest hours. I mean, you probably, I mean, how many times have you had to perform on an hour or less of sleep, right?
Yeah. Yes. Especially when you're promoting something and you have to do the early morning shows. Oh my Lord.
Yeah. The night after, you were required to work and sing your head off until 11, 12 midnight,
all day.
Yeah.
I'm just saying on my voice. Like if I have to talk a ton, a week and a half ago, we did a couple of live shows where they did, all the Corona measures. So we divided the shows so the crowds would be small. They were all 6 feet apart. They wore masks. But we did 2 90-minute shows each day.
Wow.
And I'm still not better from that. I mean, literally.
Yeah.
And then at home, I had to do all day worth of interviews. And it's like, if you're a quarterback, you can't just throw like that all day long, and your shoulder's gonna be injured. You can't just do that.
Well, and you're a fantastic singer, which means you're hitting really hard to hit notes. Well, they're hard for me. Maybe you breeze through, but
no, I give it my all every single time. And so between doing things like this, I'm definitely taking a voice rest.
Yeah. Do you use that any sort of spray or anything? Here's a product recommendation we're looking for.
No, I don't do anything but just drink tons of water, and the main thing is stop using your vocal cords. Just zip it.
Yeah. All right, Eric writes, he's from Illinois. What is one artist that you haven't recorded with yet that you would want to?
Well, everybody who knows me knows that I'm obsessed with John Mayer, and John Mayer ignores me, and he will not.
He ignores you?
He ignores me.
I'm obsessed with John Mayer too, by the way, so.
Yeah, I mean, who isn't? If you're a musician, and a writer, I mean, he's one of the most, prolific songwriters of our time. He's one of the best guitar players of our time. And
of course. And how about his drummers?
Oh my gosh. I mean,
beautiful drum parts.
And Pino Palladino on bass.
Oh, dude. Steve Jordan, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, anything Steve Jordan.
The guy Dave Labrie, who played bass on Room for Squares, he came in and played bass for me on Fun Place to Start. That's what I do. Okay. I hear great musicians and then I find them and I bring them, and producers.
Wow. See, that's cool to know, because I will listen to music based on the drummer. I mean, or the bass player. I mean, one of my favorite drummers of all time, Chad Cromwell?
Mm-hmm, of course.
Hero drummer of mine. I actually studied with him for a season of my life. He actually, I credit him with turning me into a real drummer. Mm-hmm. I kind of tapped around and kind of did my own thing. And he was like, dude, hit those drums. These are drums, brother. He's like, hit the drums. And, but anything, Chad, like in fact, I've heard music and went, man, if that doesn't sound just like Chad, and then I'll send him the music video, whatever, and I'm like, tell me it's you, and he's like, yep, that's me.
Yeah.
And I'm with you there. I seek out music that I listen to based on really who's playing drums.
Absolutely, me too.
All right.
The question is John Mayer, but
yeah, John Mayer.
He keeps ignoring me. I'm gonna turn the tables and start ignoring him.
You know, you should just start doing John Mayer covers and tag him on.
John Mayer cover on my new record, the covers album.
Well, hello.
You would say goodbye. Do you know?
And he's giving you no time. John, are you listening? If you're listening, John, now's your moment, brother. Come out of the dark. Sarah's waiting.
I think he's scared. Either that or he's such a fan that he just doesn't want to meet his idol.
That's what I think it is, honestly. I think he's very nervous. He's fanning right now.
Yeah.
All right, Eric from Illinois. Who is one artist? Nope. Richmond from North Carolina. How difficult is it to get your music played on country radio?
It's impossible these days.
Yeah.
You know, they don't play new music from me or most females. It's just men in bro country. You know, I hate it when people say, well, I'm glad to see that you're still doing it, or, you know, are you still doing music? Or when I release an album, they're like, Sara Evans is back with a new album, and I've never gone anywhere. It's just that mainstream country radio doesn't play new music. Now they'll play all my recurrents and all my hits, and I appreciate that. But, you know, I talk about that in the book extensively, about my love-hate relationship with country radio.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. As every artist I've heard in town talk about, I mean, you could do a spoof song, like like deep in your voice, and do like tailgate in a pickup truck and a beer and a babe by my side. Sometimes
in our live shows, I will just write one of those songs, like on the spur of the moment, and
you'll improv it.
Mm-hmm.
That's funny.
Yeah, but I'm quite bitter about it. I'm grateful to my fan base though, and you know, my career is still, you know, going very strong because of my fans, and and then, you know, all of the streaming services, and I do get played on a lot of different XM stations, especially with this new covers record. That's been fun.
Yeah, that's cool. Crystal from Colorado, will you ever do a rock and roll album? Love how you sing classic rock and roll. She may have seen it live, I don't know, but yeah, and her husband is a disabled MC veteran and loves you, as does she.
Thank you so much. My new album, Copy That, is a covers record, and there are some major. It has My Sharona.
Oh, nice.
Carole King, It's Too Late. It has Come On Eileen by Dexy's Midnight Runners. Like, she would love this album. It's okay. Definitely, I mean, it is music that you have never heard from Sara Evans before. So, and then I think I want to definitely do a volume 2 of the covers album, Copy That.
Yeah.
Because it was hard to narrow it down to just 13 songs, because there are a million songs that I, you know, want to cover and need to cover. And some of them do include like heavy rock and roll.
Are a lot of the songs personal favorites of yours? Like they're in your playlist?
We just started like, okay, this is how I do things. Like, I do my life in segments. So I'm like, okay, we're time to make the covers record. Now I'm going to focus on old songs. And so I just focused on old songs for 6 months. And I listened to all the oldies stations and XM, 70s on 7, 60s on 6. We had this big family group chat going with my kids and my husband and my brother and my manager and my producer. So every time one of us would think of a good idea, we would send it, you know, so we compiled this huge list. Yeah. And those were the 13 that we decided on. Cool.
Amy from South Carolina, what was your favorite part about writing this book?
When it was finished.
Says every author.
It was not easy, and it was not easy. I started out with 2 different co-writers. That didn't work out just because it was like hard to get them to talk in my voice, and I didn't realize that would be the case. And so I finally just kind of went back in, started from the beginning, scrapped most of it, and just wrote it myself in my voice. And
Yeah.
I think the funnest part though was recording the audible, even
Mm.
though it killed my voice, all that talking. But uh, I'm excited to hear that, and I think the fans are gonna appreciate that it's me telling the story instead of someone else.
Yeah. Wow. Chad in Iowa writes, what is the one thing that you want to be remembered for?
Being a good person overall, hands down. Um, I want people to feel that well, I mean, I guess when you're talking strictly about music, I want to be respected for being a great artist and writer and entertainer. But more than anything, um I want people to be really sad that I'm gone instead of like, oh, what a bitch. You know.
Yeah. I could quote you on that for me too. That's good.
Yeah.
All right. So I would love to jump to 22 questions in 2 minutes. These are more personal, about things that maybe nobody even thought to ask. Are you game?
I'm game.
All right. We're going to do fast answers, and can't wait to hear what we discover here. Number one, where were you born?
Boonville, Missouri.
Who would you want to play you in a movie?
Oh my gosh. It would be different actresses over, like one in my childhood, one in adulthood, one in my 20s while I'm getting the record deal. But I think, I don't know, probably Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Nice. I see that. I actually see that.
Yeah, and she's a singer too.
Okay.
So she's
Yeah, her or Rachel. She was with Ryan Gosling in that film.
Rachel McAdams.
Yes, I think that could work too.
Funny you say that because my daughter Audrey looks just like her. So
No way. Hey.
do something. And my husband always thinks I look like Charlize Theron. I mean, not on this
Yeah.
video because the lighting's terrible, but it would have
Yeah.
to be somebody I think who could sing. And I don't know, I would need to find the 20s person for that period. And any suggestions for the 20s person?
I mean,
Maybe my daughter.
your daughter's fine. I've never seen her, but I bet she's a spitting image of you in your 20s.
Yeah, she is.
What was your first job?
Singing live, doing live shows, and I grew up singing in bars, watching drunk people two-step. So
Yeah.
I really used to get paid for shows at age 5.
What is your biggest fear?
Dying and leaving my children behind.
Oh, I so feel you. The parent thing. Who makes you laugh the most?
My children. In particular, my daughter Audrey. She's a freaking comedian. She's insane. She's so funny. She makes me laugh the most.
What is the one thing you need to have in your fridge at all times?
Diet Coke and fat-free half and half for my coffee.
Nice. What's your greatest accomplishment?
My children.
Who's the most interesting person you met recently?
That is a great question. I don't know that I've met anyone new recently. Who have I met? I mean, I will say Philip Sweet from Little Big Town came in and sang on the Covers album. He sang Whenever I Call You Friend with me. And I had met him with Little Big Town, like always the 4 of them walking around together, but getting to know him on a personal basis. He's a great guy. He's got an amazing wife who supports him. And he did a phenomenal job singing with me on that song.
Cool. What's your middle name?
Lynn.
Lynn.
And it's spelled Linn. I'm named after my great grandmother Morrison, who was also a complete servant to her family. And her name was Sarah, and that's who I'm named after.
What's your biggest pet peeve?
When people presume to know what I want.
Yeah, that's the artist in you talking there.
Yeah.
What is the last book you read? Born to
Um,
Fly?
no, I've been reading East of Eden.
Okay.
I read it by John Steinbeck. I've been listening to the Audible. I like to go to bed listening to something because it helps me turn my brain off. So for about a month, I've been listening to East of Eden, and I fall asleep, but then I bookmark it and then I start again where I was. But the Audible of East of Eden is absolutely incredible. I don't know who's reading it, but it's amazing. It's one of the best books you'll ever read.
Nice. What is your favorite hobby?
Watching television.
Yeah. Any favorite
I
shows?
think there's so many great shows on TV, like since Apple TV. I remember
Yeah.
Downton Abbey was one of the first things I found just kind of after I got an Apple TV, and I'm like, what is this all about? I really do mean that. I like to binge watch and marathon shows that are serious and have great writing because I get inspired.
Yeah,
I'm
that's right.
watching Peaky Blinders right now.
Okay, nice. Did you ever like The Office?
Oh, we're obsessed with The Office.
Yeah.
My kids know every episode. If you turn on that one where Michael Scott does blah, 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 they're like, oh, that's episode 3, season 4.
Yeah, they got it down. My kids know all the episodes too. That's so funny. What's your guilty pleasure?
Probably red wine and watching The Real Housewives of New Jersey or The Real Housewives of Anywhere. I
Okay.
definitely watched the entire series of The Real Housewives of New Jersey. That's a guilty pleasure. That and getting massages.
Yes.
Not really a guilty pleasure. It's necessary because the high heels on stage hurt my back.
Yeah, that's right. Do you have any hidden talents besides drumming?
Drumming, I'm a great athlete. And I say that with no, like, I'm not bragging. Everybody in my family is an athlete. And that's one of the ways that I hooked my husband because I asked him to throw softball on our first date, and we did. But yeah,
Wow.
so I'm very athletic.
You should throw some like signed footballs out into the crowd at your shows.
Oh, I should. That's a great idea.
You remember shows, right?
I forgot about all of that.
But just personal question, I'm off the reservation here. Do you ever do like play drums at your shows? Like do any drum solos or anything?
No, and that's a sore subject because I've asked my brother to arrange for that to happen for 20 years and he's never done it. And it made me insecure, like maybe he thinks I'm not good enough, but I am. I'm good enough.
You are good enough. I can sense your confidence tells me that. What color is your toothbrush?
I have a white electric toothbrush, like this, what are they called? The Sonar Sonic.
Yeah.
Sonic toothbrush.
What's your secret snack?
Low-fat Jif. I like to take a spoonful of low-fat Jif to bed with me. I have night anxiety. I don't like going to bed. I'm used to road life. I'm used to being, up all night.
Yeah.
So when it's time to go to bed, I start getting anxiety. Like, what if I can't sleep? And so I put in my headphones, I listen to a book, and I take a Diet Coke and I eat low-fat Jif. But I'm usually asleep before it's all consumed.
Yeah. Yeah. The musician's curse, night anxiety. And you write about anxiety in your book too, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Cool.
I do. From my 3 near-death experiences, I've had to deal with, a lot of PTSD and anxiety, but I'm a lot better now.
Yeah. Wow. How do you take your coffee?
Splenda and low-fat, half and half.
You remember?
My kids are so judgmental of me for using Splenda.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, nobody knows.
You don't know my life?
Yeah. And I'm just like, it would be one thing if I was like eating just like pounds of Splenda, but I'm having like 2 cups of coffee.
Yeah.
So leave me alone.
Yeah. Get out of here. You remember theaters. What is the last movie you saw in theaters?
I have no idea.
What's the last gift you gave?
I probably sent a bottle of wine to my girlfriend who needed a bottle of wine. I'll just put it at that. And I sent wine on Drizzly.
Okay. What cause is dear to your heart?
I have a lot of causes that are dear to my heart. Anything that has to do with family and babies and children, and I'm always more about the optimistic side of life. So any causes that promote optimism about life.
Yeah. What is number one on your bucket list?
Well, I hate doing a bucket list because it makes me feel weird. It would probably have something to do with John Mayer.
John Mayer responding to your many requests to do something. Hello.
I used to even sing "Say What You Need to Say" in our encore, and that's from the movie Bucket List. But I'd probably like to take a humongous long trip all over Europe, to as many places as we can go with my kids.
Yeah. For all of you listening, why don't you help Sara out? Let's all do some hashtag John Mayer, Sara Evans type of stuff, and just everybody tag him in posts, and hashtag what's wrong with John Mayer, hashtag where's John Mayer. Let's get this
Sara
thing.
Evans?
Yeah. Where do you want to go that you've never been? Last question.
I've been so many places. I've never been to Germany or that area. I've been to Switzerland and I've been to Italy, but only very briefly. So I'd kind of like to do that, and I would like to go to all of Italy, the countryside.
Very cool.
And I've never been to Wales or Ireland, which I want to go there too, because I'm Welsh.
Oh, this has been super informative, I know, for me. Anything else you'd like to share with your fans?
I don't think so.
All right. Sara Evans, ladies and gentlemen, to order her limited edition autograph book, go to premiercollectibles.com/born to fly. And to be a part of the live signing experience with more of your favorite authors, follow Premier Collectibles on Instagram or Facebook. And from all of your fans, Sara, and from us here at Premier Collectibles, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. This was so much fun.
I had a blast. Yeah, it's great to get to know you.
You too. Keep
Bye. Yeah, you too. See ya.
Bye. Thank you.
Yay.
Hi. I am sitting here with the one and only Jackie Chan, global superstar, and he is signing all of these books. Are your hands tired?
No, tired, but I'm happy.
All right.
Yeah,
I'm
really,
so
really
happy to hear that.
How do you feel?
Good. I'm excited. This is the first time I've done something like this before, a live signing.
Where do I want to go that I've never been? We're thinking about, not thinking, we're putting it in motion. I'm going to go to Indonesia on my Irresponsible tour this year. I'm excited about that. I've never been. And there's been a heavy demand for me there. So we're going to go. We're going to go to Indonesia and I'm going to make people laugh in Indonesia. That's how I roll. How do you roll? I can't make this up. Wayne, you got your Indonesia pants? I decided it about a good 3 weeks ago. You'll see it on the schedule soon, so I suggest you go get your pants for Indonesia, because you're not going to wear them stupid pants. Where do you think Indonesia is? India. Yes, we out.
You can see that I'm signing it. This is not some machine scribbling my name. This is my actual human body scribbling my name. So, all right, there we go. First book, signed.
We have fans from all over who have written questions that they want to ask you.
Oh dear.
And they're also going to get signed copies of the book. We're so excited.
Yeah.
So you ready to jump into some questions?
Yes.
Hey, we're live at the live signing.
To my mind, the successful feeling at the end of a book is not that you have done everything you could with the book, but that you scratched the surface.
Mm-hmm. So it was a wonderful experience and a wonderful discipline in storytelling.
I'm going to start signing right now. I guess I'll sign in red. You know, red. I'm a Delta. Red.
Can you guys see that? See? There's a little smudge right there. So if you see a little smudge, that means Charles jumped on the book as I was signing it.
I don't mind doing signings because people really love a signed copy of a book. I know I do. I will sometimes sign a book to myself.
You were only 7 weeks old and ABC really wanted to get the new host
in that seat and get things going. And I said, but I'm breastfeeding. And by the way, that was at a point like in 1979, coming up on 1980, you really weren't even allowed to say breastfeeding on the air.
I feel like this is something we kind of all need right now.
My life changed after my leg was broken in 1985. My world changed. I had the world by the tail. I had every material thing you could possibly hope for going for you in your life. And then all of a sudden, bang, in one instance, it was gone.
The only thing that matters is the love you give and the love you allow yourself to receive.
I'm healthier than I've ever been, only because I got healthy when I was like 40. Thank you so much.
Got it. Hi there. You probably recognize this guy. I'm Ned Rust. I'm his publisher, James Patterson here, the #1 best-selling author in the world. And did you just make that up? I did some research before I got here today.
We are doing my virtual live book signing.
Live book signing.
This is crazy.
More and more authors are doing this. I think it's so cool.
Signing some of the signed copies that you guys can get at premiercollectibles.com.
You're going to be signing these books live over the next 45 minutes.
Hey, what up, this is I'm watching myself. Look at that. I need to stop.
If you're OCD, how is this panic-inducing to
They're
you?
not
Like all
you.
these?
They've got a bag.
Yeah.
They've got a bag.
I'm inspired by your success. What advice do you give someone who's never found his passion?
Hi, I'm Judge Janine Pirro. You probably heard of my book, Liars, Liberals, and Leakers. I may look like Greg Gutfeld, but I'm not. Actually, this is so exciting. My 8th book, The Gutfeld Monologues, is out. This is fantastic. If you haven't purchased it yet, you're dead to me. But you still have time to reanimate and become my best friend.
Biggest pet peeve?
Yeah.
Men that talk to me with spinach in their teeth.
What can I do while at work to help lower my stress and improve my health?
One musician do you most admire?
I love you all, and we'll talk again soon. Take care.
Bye.
Much love. See you.
See you soon,
Everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
We'll see you around the world. Woo!
Have a great day.
Thank you, everyone here.
Bye, guys.
Say goodbye, Mary.
See you in the morning.
Goodbye, everybody. Thanks for coming. I'm gonna go get drunk.